Chapter 410, Bring Under Control. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The power of the 10th level genuine martial arms was activated and the power reached its maximum. The Blackwater Chill Pool was completely covered by the electric light emitting from the Violet Thunder Sword. Every drop of water seemed to be full of destructive power. The monster ape's body was of a water-natured physical quality, and it was suppressed by the power of Thunderbolt. Seeing that Zhang Yuochen's power had been growing steadily, the monster ape became cautious. When Zhang Yuochen carried the sword to kill it, the monster ape did not use brute force. He gathered the power in its abdomen and opened its mouth, and he spit out a dozen of large ice spikes. They were as sharp as black spears. Bang, bang. Zhang Yuochen kept swinging his sword to destroy the ice spikes. With a swishing sound, he leapt to the above of the monster ape's head and chopped down towards its head. A purple sword light of thunderbolt that was at least 10 meters flew out with a bang. The monster ape swung its palms again and suddenly beat towards the direction of the sword chi. The palm and the combat sword clashed together. Crack! The combat sword destroyed the monster ape's defense. A large amount of blood immediately splashed out. The monster ape's palm was torn by the sword chi, leaving a long sword mark. The blood poured out like a stream and colored the black pond water into a strange scarlet color. After suffering from the attack, the monster ape was in pain and quickly retreated away from Zhang Yuochen. What Zhang Yuochen used was a physical attack, and he fought against the monster ape in melees. He fought force with force, which was completely different from how other masters of 5 elements continent usually fought. He slightly frightened the monster ape. Zhang Yuochen had hurt the monster ape with a single attack. However, he was not satisfied with the outcome. The attack only cut the flesh of the monster ape's palm on the surface, and it was blocked by the skeleton of the monster ape. It did not cut off its hand. If looked closely through the wound, one would find that the skeleton of the monster ape was a dark color, just like the colored surface of a crystal. Strips of quirky lines flew through its skeleton. It had practiced into the treasured body of water spirit. Its skeleton had undergone a transformation and was harder than dark steel. Oh woo! A layer of black cold light emerged on the monster ape's body. The black light flowed from the wound of its palm. Then flesh meat immediately grew out and its wound quickly healed. Swoosh! Zhang Yuochen certainly would not give it a chance to recover from the injury, so he immediately attacked it again. The monster ape stared at Zhang Yuochen. Its giant eyes revealed a cunning light. It did not fight with Zhang Yuochen directly. Instead, it kicked its legs and dashed toward the surface of the water at its fastest speed. Boom! After a moment, the monster ape broke out of the water, and its huge body flew up more than 10 meters high. Zhang Yuochen was closely chasing after the monster ape. He was about to get out of the water. Above the water, the monster ape forcibly reversed its body, and attacked Zhang Yuochen, who was still in the water. This time the monster ape no longer underestimated its foe. It mobilized the power of its water nature, forming a black light ball to protect its fists, and fended off the impact of the sword chi. It's actually so intelligent. Zhang Yuochen just rushed out of the water. Before he stood steady, he had to clash with the monster ape's fists. He lost the upper hand once again and had to remain on the receiving end. Having previously underestimated its wisdom, Zhang Yuochen immediately put away the contemptuous attitude and treated the monster ape as an enemy of equal wisdom. The raw power of the monster ape was unparalleled. Even with the martial soul, Zhang Yuochen did not want to fight it with sheer strength. Bam! Zhang Yuochen displayed the space moving. With a swooshing sound, he disappeared below the monster ape's fists. Through power of space, Zhang Yuochen teleported 12 meters away and appeared in front of the giant face of the monster ape. The body of the monster ape was huge, even its face was several times larger than Zhang Yuochen's body. Boom! The monster ape's fist hit the water surface and made the water of the cold pond splash up for more than 10 meters high. At the same time, Zhang Yuochen chopped his sword on the monster ape's neck and broke through its iron-hard fur, leaving a long sword mark of a palm wide. Pow! The sound of metal clashing gave out from the monster ape's neck. This sword attack still failed to cut through the monster ape's neck, as it once again got fended off by the bones under the flesh. It just slightly injured the monster ape. After he has practiced into the treasured body of water spirit, The defensive power of its skeleton is so amazing that even if I use all my strength, I have to take out dozens of sword attacks in the same spot to possibly break its bones. The Violet Thunder Sword was already a 10th level genuine martial arms. Both the sharpness and the power of the inscriptions on it were powerful. According to Zhang Yuochen's guess, only by using the 12th level genuine martial arms at its most powerful state could he easily cut off the monster ape's bones. But the 12th level genuine martial arms were just too expensive, and there's no way that Zhang Yuochen could afford right them now. The treasured body of water spirit alone had already been so powerful. If the saintly beings of the eastern region reached the fish dragon realm, it meant that they reached the small success of the saintly being. How terrifying would the defensive power of their bodies be? When one reached the fish dragon realm, one reached the small success of the saintly being. Once one was a saint, one reached the succeed of the saintly being. The monster ape roared again and once again attacked toward Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen was only slightly delayed in reactions, but he was hit by the monster ape's fist. He flew out and smashed into the stone wall of the valley. The ape didn't expect that it would actually get injured twice in a row by a mere human. The monster ape got mad and its roar resounded through the valley. It opened its bloody mouth, showing 2 rows of sharp teeth. It bended over and bit toward Zhang Yuochen to tear apart his body. Zhang Yuochen transported his genuine chi into the meridians in his arms. He used his golden dragon claws to tightly grab the upper and lower front teeth of the monster ape. He kept the monster ape's mouth open. The divine dragon strength started to circle around Zhang Yuochen's body. It provided a constant stream of power. Fortunately, with the help of divine dragon strength, Zhang Yuochen could temporarily resist the monster ape with pure strength. Otherwise, how could he fight with the monster ape with his cultivation of the heaven realm? Heart integrated into sword, defense sword. The pressure Zhang Yuochen bore was bigger and bigger. He had to display the power of the heart integrated into sword. The heart of the sword in his globula flashed and controlled the Violet Thunder Sword, which turned into a light shuttle. It striked into the monster ape's throat and stabbed into its internal organs. Does it matter how strong it is or how hard its bone is? As long as one messed up its internal organs, it had to die. When the Violet Thunder Sword flew into the body of the monster ape, the monster ape quickly responded and released its beast soul, which flew into its body. It wanted to use its own beast soul to control the Violet Thunder Sword. The monster ape definitely had high intelligence that greatly exceeded those of other savage beasts. Zhang Yuochen coldly hummed and pulled his arms back. And then, he gathered the genuine chi of his whole body and struck out his palms again. Divine Dragon's Steel. The powerful force on his palms knocked off 2 front teeth of the monster ape. At the same time, the powerful impact sent the monster ape flying. Zhang Yuochen kicked his legs and flew backwards for about 33 meters. He stood on a bulge stone on the cliff. He squeezed his index finger and middle finger together. He mobilized the Violet Thunder Sword and displayed the sword's skill. Crack! The Violet Thunder Sword quickly flew inside the monster ape's body, which cut off more than 10 blood meridians, penetrated the monster ape's lobe, and continued to stab toward the monster ape's heart. The monster ape had no chance to survive if he pierced its heart. At this critical moment, the monster ape's beast soul flew into its body and formed a black ape shape. The beast soul floated above its heart and shot out a palm. It sent the Violet Thunder Sword flying. The monster ape's beast soul mobilized the heaven and earth spiritual chi and condensed into a whirlpool that enveloped the Violet Thunder Sword. It forcefully hit the Violet Thunder Sword out of its body. With a whooshing sound, the Violet Thunder Sword with its electric light flew out from below the monster ape's second rib. Pow! The Violet Thunder Sword was out of Zhang Yuochen's control and crashed into a giant stone in the distance. What a powerful beast soul! In this case, let's see if your beast soul is stronger or my martial soul is stronger. Zhang Yuochen's martial soul floated above his head. He moved his arm, and the heart of the sword that had originally floated in the chi sea flew out and landed in the hands of the martial soul. The heart of the sword turned into a white sword. The martial soul held the heart of the sword and directly rushed into the monster ape's body with traces of shadow left behind. The martial soul and the beast soul fought each other using the monster ape's body as a battlefield. Zhang Yuochen's martial soul was obviously more powerful, and he continued to use the heart of the sword. He only used a dozen sword attacks to severely injure the monster ape's beast soul. The monster ape screamed with pain and immediately wanted to retreat its beast soul. Of course, Zhang Yuochen would not let it, so his martial soul chased after it. The heart of the sword stabbed into the back of the beast soul and locked the monster ape's beast soul in place. The monster ape felt a severe pain in its body, and its soul seemed to be broken into pieces. Zhang Yuochen pointed his right index finger to the sky to condense the power of spiritual power. The heaven and earth spiritual chi vibrated violently, and a stroke of airflow converged into his fingers. Above the sky, a thick thunder was formed and slammed onto the monster ape's body. Boom! A big pit with a diameter of dozens meters appeared on the ground after hitting by a thunderbolt. The monster ape's body collapsed into the giant pit and it was completely blackened by the thunderbolt, just barely alive. Streaks of flames kept flowing above its body, and the ground around the large pit was sparking with lightning fire and emitting the black smoke. Zhang Yuochen flew down and stood on the edge of the big pit. He controlled the violet thunder sword that floated above the body of the monster ape, with the sword tip pointing down and ready to stab at any time. He said seriously, "Yield, or death." The monster ape's beast soul was still suppressed by the heart of the sword, and it simply dared not to resist. In fact, the monster ape was depressed. Its strength was obviously much stronger than that of a human being. If they did not compete with the beast soul and the martial soul, it could surely defeat the human being. However high the savage beast's intelligence was, it had more faith in its brute force. The martial technique, the sword technique, and the spiritual power were useless in front of its strength. Of course, the monster ape had not expected that the human's martial soul was so terribly powerful. It suppressed its beast soul within seconds. Was this human really that powerful? I yield. The beast soul of the monster ape sent out a thought. Naturally, the monster ape was unwilling to surrender, but its life was held in Zhang Yuochen's hands. There was no other choice. Zhang Yuochen said, "In that case, leave your beast soul with me so that you won't rebel." Regardless of whether or not the monster ape would like to, Zhang Yuochen's hand swung. He put the monster ape's beast soul into the yin-yang wooden graph of his Chi-Si. According to the rule stipulated in the Heaven Board, one could get 1000 military merits by killing an indigen in the first change in the fish-dragon realm. If Zhang Yuochen killed the monster ape, he could get 1000 military merits. However, Zhang Yuochen did not do that. He temporarily let the monster ape live for his own use. The power of the monster ape could greatly help Zhang Yuochen in the Five Elements primitive world.